can use this mic.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Just on behalf of Salam Media, we'd like to thank the board of directors, the staff, and everybody else associated with the school for giving us this opportunity as Salam Media to bring our campaign to your school. Now, what is important to understand is Salam Media has always been, alhamdulillah, at the forefront of the struggle for the oppressed people. This is in our motto, which is humanitarian journalism, and we will cover each and every aspect of humanitarian efforts, humanitarian journalism, and also speaking out against injustices that occur. Now, one of the greatest injustices in our time for the last 75 years has been the struggle for Palestine. Now, I'm just going to briefly introduce our guest, Sister Abir Zayad, who is an archaeologist. She is a tour guide. She has been a teacher. And she is amongst those who is fortunate, who have been chosen as part of the Ummah to protect the honor and the dignity of Masjid al-Aqsa. Now, I do understand that learning and teaching obviously must take place, and the next few minutes or the time that we're spending with Abir Zayad is going to be an education on its own. And as young children, we need to also appreciate the fact, and last night I asked Abir Zayad, I said, Sister Abir, as a child growing up in Palestine, or looking at children that are growing up in Palestine, do they ever lead a normal life? And Sister Abir answered, she says, how do you define normal? He says, our life has been a struggle, and I'm sure many of you young children will appreciate, and many of you have the understanding as to what little children, what school-going children go through. And they have their challenges on a day-to-day basis. We've seen so many images of children being separated by their parents when they are taken away by the Israeli security forces, being dragged by their hair, being dragged by their bodies, and you see this little child crying out for his parents. We've seen little children going into prison. We know the case of Ahmad Manasra at the age of 13, where he appeared in court, and this was a video that went viral right across the entire world. And this is a situation, this is an injustice that we see on a day-to-day basis taking place in Palestine. So without much ado, I'd like to call on Sister Abir Zayad to address you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abir Zayad. I'm an archaeologist. I'm working as the head in the heritage department at Al-Aqsa Mosque, and also I'm a tour guide for Al-Aqsa. And I grew up inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque, so all my life is connected with the mosque itself. Al-Aqsa Mosque for us is alive. It's not something like just a mosque or just a place. It's meaning our life all. So this is why Jerusalemite people, they are willing to give their life for the mosque without anything. They do not care about anything else than the mosque itself. It's more important for us than our life, than our children, than everything. So this is what helped us, this mentality, to be able to protect the mosque till today. Al-Aqsa Mosque is part from our aqidah as a Muslim. And you as a Muslim, you need to know that you have responsibility for this place. Each one of you own part from this place, own part from Al-Aqsa Mosque. Each one of you own around 1 millimeter from the mosque. So it's yours. When you go there, you pray. Each place you pray inside Al-Aqsa Mosque, you are praying in a place of one of the prophets. So you are praying in place of one of the prophet, and you will get 500 reward. And just your coming to Al-Aqsa Mosque is jihad. This is following direct order from our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, because our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam ordered us to visit. And after that, he said that if you can't visit it, send oil. But the first order is to go and to visit the place. This is never been given to any other place in the whole world. This kind of order was given from our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, just for Al-Aqsa Mosque. Al-Aqsa Mosque is the land of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, the land of Al-Ard al-Mahshar wal-Manshar. That place is connected with our Aqidah as Muslim in all aspects. You can't be a Muslim without believing and loving Al-Aqsa Mosque. I hope to see you all inside Al-Aqsa Mosque to learn about everything inside the mosque, about each aspect inside the Al-Aqsa Mosque, and about Jerusalem and Palestine. I know that it's not enough to speak speech about Al-Aqsa Mosque, and I know that all of you have a lot of questions about Al-Aqsa Mosque. So I don't want to lose time. I want to ask to hear your question you're asking, and I try my best to answer all your questions about Jerusalem, about Al-Aqsa Mosque, about how we live, the situation. So I will be more than glad to hear your question and to try to answer it, all of it, inshallah.
Okay, is there any questions some of you have? The first question I have for you, which people asked me yesterday, is that how do you live with the constant bombing that you see in Gaza? And how do you contain, how do you pacify the children?
First of all, that I'm not from Gaza, I'm from Jerusalem. You need to understand that as a Jerusalemite, it's not allowed for us to enter Gaza at all. And Gaza people also are not allowed to enter to Jerusalem. But of course, we have a friend there that we call them. Even while I'm here, I was calling my friend to make sure that my friend is still alive. It's not easy to see that, and some family, for example, they gathering their children in one room. So if they die, that the whole family will die. No one survive. They do not want to leave anyone behind. Other family, they have a different idea. When there is a bombing, they will send each child for a different family. So if they was bombed, someone from the family will stay alive. Each one have a different perspective, different thing, but it's very hard. The hard thing that to see one of the children yesterday, he died just from afraid. They bomb a house next to him and he have a heart attack. The child, 4 years old, to have a heart attack. You can imagine that. Of course, in Jerusalem, we does not happy with the thing that is happening in Gaza. So people in Jerusalem start also fighting. So in the last 2 days, we have 2 people are shot in Jerusalem. One in village we call it Surbahir, the other one in Shafat camp by people was protesting to what is happening in Gaza. And of course, Israel does not like that, so they start shooting them. So no one can explain the feeling when you are under attack. No one can explain the feeling when you will be killed, and you know that. At least I know how many times they try to kill us inside the old city. And I know how our men attacked, especially when I was a child, and how they raised us in this situation. I remember once when they decided to kill all our neighborhood, and that our men, they know that they are going to attack, and they are going to attack us inside homes, and they are planning to kill us. So what our men done, they did not run away. They go first to Al-Aqsa Mosque, they pray the janazah on themselves because they thought that there will be no one to pray janazah on them. So they pray janazah on themselves, and after that they prepare for themselves to fight back. So this is the mentality for our people.
Okay, any questions from the audience, these people? I know you asked many questions. Girls? One boy, perhaps? Yes. Teachers, any questions, perhaps?
So I will ask you a question if he does not want to ask. Which Islamic, the oldest Islamic building in the whole world? Do you know it? Do you know which is the oldest Islamic building in the whole world? It's the Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock is the oldest Islamic building that was built by Muslim state, and it is still exactly like it was built. And it was built by Abdul Malik bin Marwan, one of the Khalifa of Bani Umayyah, at 691 AD, 71 Hijri. So it's very beautiful building, and it is still exactly like it was built. The changes that is happening there, small changes, like when you change your jacket, nothing touch your skin. So you are stay the same person. So if you was lucky once in the future and there is a time machine and you travel in time back to Jerusalem in the time of Bani Umayyah, you will see the same building that you are saying today.
How many of you have been to Masjid Al-Aqsa al-Mubarak? Any questions from you perhaps? Or perhaps share your experience if you want to. One question I was also asked is that the Naqaba is being commemorated across the world. We will be a station probably on Monday. What's the general for the people of the Naqaba in Jerusalem as well as Palestine as an entirety? Thank you.
As a person that my family also have refugee, we can't get our homes that we had taken from us in 1948. We can't forget the people who was killed in 1948. But the thing that the Nakba is a continuous. It did not stop in 1948 and it did not start in 1948. The Nakba starts when the British occupation came to Palestine and they start killing us and taking our land to give it to the Zionist movement, to start at the end to be able to establish this criminal Israel Zionist country. So the continuous of killing of the people, it was from the British occupation till today did not stop. Of course, in 1948, it was the biggest time that they were killed, big number from us. In fact, no one know exactly what is the number that was killed because each few years we discover another village that what massacres happened there. So a lot of people had been killed completely. Some villages killed completely. Few people was able to stay alive from some of the villages like Deir Yassin. Some of the villages had been destroyed completely. You does not have any archaeological remains from it. And some you can still find the houses. For my husband family, for example, we know where is exactly the houses and it still exists, even that it's not allowed for us to be in. So we take our children to that homes. We teach them with which home is for them, where their grandfather was living, and we are willing one day to go back to our homes. My family themselves, our home had been destroyed, and the place of our home is the fire department now in Ramle city. So even that, we still know where our land, and we're still hoping to be going back to our homes. But you need to understand that destroying of homes, taking land, is continuous. It did not stop. In the last week, more than 4 homes was demolished in Jerusalem. And you see also what is happening in Gaza and what is happening in the West Bank, how they are demolishing home, how they are bombing home. So the Nakba, to consider it like something had been stopped, it did not stop. It's a continuous Nakba for our Ummah, for our place. And you know, some of our leaders, especially Sheikh Abdul Qadir al-Husseini, he was the leader of our Mujahideen in 1948. He made a message, a letter before he was killed by the Israeli to all the Muslim Ummah. He write, we win this battle. We know that we will lose the second battle and we will be killed. I send this message to the Muslim Ummah to say that we as a Palestinian, as a Mujahideen, we had our fight. We did not left our country. But you as a Muslim, you left us alone to be killed.
There's a question for one of the people. What is the role of the women in the fight against oppression, in keeping the Masjid Al-Aqsa alive? Because we see a lot of it on television where women are in the forefront of the marches, and I've seen that personally when I was there as well. Please elaborate. Thank you.
The women in Palestine, it's something new that they are in the fight. In fact, in the revolution in 1936, and in the revolution, we have Sheikh Izzuddin al-Qassam, one of our leaders. He's a Syrian. He came to make a fight in Palestine, and he was one of the leaders in the revolution in 1936. So his daughter was a leader of a group of al-Mujahidat, and they was fighting with weapons in that time. So we are speaking about 1936. So our women from the beginning was fighting, was part from the jihad against the occupation. And this is continuous, especially that a lot of our men are in jail or abandoned. So all the time, the women supposed to jump on the front line and to fight instead and to continue protecting, especially in Al-Aqsa Mosque when they abandon all men to come. So it will become our duty to protect the mosque. This is why you see a lot of our women are in the first line and fighting. As I said in the beginning, that for us, Al-Aqsa Mosque is the life. So none of us, not a man, not a woman, not a child, will imagine his life without Al-Aqsa Mosque. So we are willing to give our life for protecting it. And this is not something new. It's something that we grow up with it. This is why Israel now is trying to change the new generation mentality. They want to change their mentality in this way. They can control them. So if they control them, they will be able to take Al-Aqsa Mosque. They are doing the changes, each time, small changes. And only Jerusalemites people can notice these changes. And this is what it makes us try all the time to fight. The fight is not only in Ramadan or in one day in the year. It's in daily basis to exist inside Jerusalem and inside Palestine.
One question.
I want to ask a question. A lot of us here as children know that when life goes hard, what children do excuse me? A lot of children ask that. I ask that when life goes hard, a lot of children regain strength to persevere. Can you describe the strength of the children that are affected during this?
Okay, thank you.
The stress is not a problem, in fact. The problem is to be arrested as a child. Some children are arrested in age 5, some are in age 6 years old. The difficulty is about being shooting or seeing your family, all your family arrested. This is completely different. It's not just a stress. And also we teach our children that it's not allowed for them to feel afraid. It's not allowed to feel even a stress. You need to feel only that you are powerful and you are brave. It's not allowed to feel stress. It's not allowed to feel scared. If you feel scared, if you feel stress, you will lose. So we try to teach our children, even if they are, some of them, they are arrested from the mosque with the broken bones, and you will see their photos smiling instead of the camera. In front of the camera, you will see them smiling. And if you see them after that, you will know that they was with the broken bones or they beat them. It's not that we does not feel scared. It's not allowed to show the scare. So stress is something very, very small. You know, some of our children, they know that their home will be demolished. When they go to school, instead of taking the books with them, they take their favorite clothes or their favorite toy because they know that in any moment they can go back home and the home will be demolished on top of their stuff. So they try to take their stuff with them in the school. You can imagine that, to feel all the time that you will not find your home back when you go back, to know that any moment when you're going and coming back from the school, you can be arrested or shooting. Each one of youth, when he go to school, they stop them. Children and youth in your age, they make him take all of their clothes in the street while they are searching them. They humiliate them. So our children our youth acting in a funny way when they do that for them. It's a way not to make them feeling satisfied with all the things that they're doing against us. And I know that all of us, we need therapy, because it's not good not to be allowed to feel scared or stressed, but we does not have choices.
We have two more questions.
Okay. Good. Just 5 minutes.
Masjid al-Aqsa is special for the Muslims, Muslim Palestinians. Is it only the Muslim Palestinians in this fight?
Masjid al-Aqsa is special for all Muslims, and it's part from our Aqidah. And we does not consider that it's something that belongs for us alone. But sometimes we feel that we are lonely. Sometimes we feel that the Muslims forget about Al-Aqsa Mosque. But let me say that in the last few years, we've seen a lot of people from South Africa and from UK coming and filling up the mosque. And this is just make us feeling joy, feeling that Muslims did not forget the mosque, and feeling that there is a hope in the Muslims all around the world. So as much as we see Muslims coming, as much as we feel that we are not forgetting. So Al-Aqsa Mosque is for each one of us, and it's fardu ayn for each one of us to take care of the mosque, not only Palestinian people or Jerusalemite people. But we need the Muslims all over the world to understand this, and when they understand this, everything will be changed. So we are very happy to see all these Muslims coming, and I hope to see all of you in the Al-Aqsa Mosque, inshallah.
Yeah, you said that when children went to school and came back, they were shot. What was the young age that went to school and got shot?
The youngest child is
I will tell you youngest age even before school. They are kidnapping our children. And my cousin was kidnapped when he was 2 years old. My brother, they tried to kidnap him, to kill him when he was 2 years old, and I was able to protect him. And another cousin that they kidnapped him also when he was 2 years old, but that one, he lost oxygen during that time, and it affected his life till today. So they do not care how old are you. One of their minister, Shakid, she said that we are snakes and we are supposed to be killed when we are children. So they do not care how old are you. If they have the opportunity to kill a Palestinian, they will kill him without caring which age they are.
So we know that when every child is born, it must be registered. And considering that Israel doesn't recognize Palestine, when a Palestinian child is born, under location, what is their place of birth?
All of you had a study about apartheid, yes? In the apartheid time in South Africa, they was putting the Indian alone, the black alone, each group alone. So Israel are doing the same system with us. So they separated us for different section, and each section, they have a different law. So we have the people who was occupied in 1948. These, they have Israel citizen. The people who was occupied in 1967, they are separated for 3 sections. Gaza people, which they have a Palestinian passport and Palestinian identity card, and they do not have a problem of registering their children. And they are living in Gaza, but it's not allowed for them to come to the West Bank or to Jerusalem. And the only way to get out from Gaza is through Egypt. We have the West Bank people, which they have a West Bank a Palestinian identity card and a passport, Palestinian passport, and they do not have a problem with registering their children, and they can go out from the country just through Jordan. And also it's not allowed for them to go to Gaza, and it's not allowed for them to go to Jerusalem. They need a specific permission to do that. Even that some of the places is a few minutes from Al-Aqsa Mosque. The Jerusalem people, sorry, I want to speak about Jerusalem people, that we have the problem of registering. We have around 20,000 persons are not registered at all. They do not give us a Palestinian passport or an Israeli passport. They give us a travel document, Israel travel document, that we enter to Israel, and the travel document from Israel say that we are Jordanian, and we have another travel document from Jordan say that we are not Jordanian. So we does not have any nationality, and we have facing a huge problem of registration, and they want to transfer us as much fast as they can because they does not want any Palestinian in Jerusalem at all.
And then we have to leave for class. Thank you.
How do the Muslim people, even though the men, the women, the children, they all know that if they go out to fight, they will die, how do they manage to keep the iman so strong?
We first of all, we does not think about that. This is the first stage. Does not think about that. You deal with your life like if there is nothing will be happen. But second, that from the beginning, we believe that we was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as all the hadith from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, that we are in jihad all of our life. So we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chosen us to protect the mosque. So this is our duty. So none of us will be afraid or thinking about that. Our priority is the mosque is safe. Everything else, it will come after. So even when they shoot us inside the mosque, or even if they arrested us or whatever, we continue working to the mosque. This Laylat Qadr, for example, I was doing a humanity work inside Al-Aqsa Mosque, and I get a phone that that my brother is attacked by the settlers. Even that, I did not left what I am doing inside the mosque. I did not left the mosque. I continue my work for the mosque and just trying to know what happened to my brother. And alhamdulillah, it just was a broken hand, so it's okay.
Jazakallah, Sister Abi Zaid, for this informative and really constructive discussion tonight.
7:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Al-Ansar Hall. There'll be a detailed talk by Sister Abir Zayad. We encourage all of you to participate or send someone through who have not listened yet. Jazakallah khair to the Salam Media team for coming through. We really appreciate it. Teachers, if you can assist in letting our children out in an orderly fashion, the girls can begin living out from the back. And the boys, 1 minute please. Sheikh Irshad, want to say something?
So, just the procedure for Monday, I know some of the teachers would have spoken to you again. The girls will wait for instruction on between your respective salah areas. Exit by the main entrance, walk out the drive. Will be the security guards, and on the road there'll be the police. You'll be on the pavement in front of the whole school area from the first Larkspur Road to the second Larkspur Road. The boys, the grades 7, 8, 9, and 10, you'll exit from the furthest gate, go up Larkspur Road, and you start the grade 7s from the top of Alpine Road, going down towards Amgheni Road. The grades 11s and the 12s, you'll walk straight down Lotus Road, and you go and start lining up from Amgheni Road upwards, inshallah. Right? The placards will be in the front, and then you take maybe one placard between two, and we'll work out, inshallah. Right? Jazakallah khair. Those classes that see Apa As-Saadi today, you all will have your lessons in the MPR. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah. Girls, you may start leaving. Thank you. The boys, row by row, please. We'll start leaving from the front. Jazakallah. All do not get up at one time, boys. First row, please. First row at one row at a time. Thank you. Come, let's go.